Well, the car thinks we won't make it, even though... So this Ioniq 5 that should be getting well over 200 kilowatts is getting 26 kilowatts right now. That's really, really bad. Faulted is one way to describe what's happening here. What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today we're walking out to my brand new 2023 Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive with the 4680 battery pack. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina at my apartment, and we're headed to Orlando, Florida. Just about 600 miles each way. We're gonna be driving straight through today. Should be 2 or 3 Supercharger stops, but let's get my stuff loaded up into the car here. I'll show you the route, we'll get things set up. I'll give you a quick tour of the car, then we'll hit the road. It's just about 8 o'clock in the morning. So here we have it. We've got the aero covers off of the Gemini wheels. Just gonna try that out. I think I prefer the look, and I don't wanna scratch up the wheels with the covers until I fully decide what I wanna do. Got the Rally Armor mud flaps. I've got some drone batteries charging up back here via the 12 volt or 15 volt outlet. Got my suitcase back here, just unplugged from the charge point here. We've got a close match-ish. Well, I guess the only shared thing between these cars is that they're both blue. That has the 20-inch induction wheels. It's also a long range, and it has black interior. I can tell it's a long range because I looked at the VIN and it's a Fremont car. And looks like this is a hardware 3 car, whereas mine is a hardware 4 car. You can tell by the turn signal there. You can also tell by the red hue in the cameras. But let's hop in. Again, this is a brand new car to me. It just took delivery on Thursday. And today is Tuesday, 4th of July. So we'll hop in here. Let's take a look at the trips. We're going to reset it here. So not going to reset my lifetime trip, of course, because why would I do that? But we're going to reset trip A here. Reset. Orlando. Actually, I'm just gonna name it Florida. So there we go. We've got that reset. And let's see what the car says for the route. I haven't booked a hotel or anything, so we're just gonna put it in the general city, see what it says. We'll see if I wanna override this. That doesn't seem too bad. I am gonna be going through Gainesville rather than through Daytona Beach area. Need to visit some stuff in Ocala on the way down. We're most likely going to do a little bit different route. I think I'm gonna try and push it to Walterboro instead. So that added it as a stop. Let's just manually override. Still getting the hang of Tesla Nav here. It's been a little while. Let's see if it will actually let me go all the way to Walterboro without stopping. While we're doing that, here's the configuration of the car. So Model Y, it doesn't show long range or anything because this is the base all-wheel drive. I subscribed to FSD yesterday, haven't actually tried it out yet. I don't have FSD beta yet, but I did enable navigate on autopilot, so we'll try that out. Here's the settings I have set right now. We'll see how that does. It's been a while since I've used navigate on autopilot. We'll see how much I actually end up using autopilot because vision-based autopilot is still limited to 85 miles an hour or 87 if you know a trick. So it looks like we can make it all the way to Walterboro, 14%. We'll see if my bladder can make it all the way to Walterboro. I had a yerba mate as I was getting ready. But just about 8 o'clock in the morning. Should get to Walterboro just shy of 11. We'll probably beat that time. But let's get the show on the road. Don't want to be hanging out here too long in Charlotte. We do have multiple bailout options along the way. Let me show you that. But I think this should be a very easy road trip. I would definitely be a bit concerned if I was taking a CCS car on the I-95 corridor on 4th of July. But in Tesla, I have absolutely no concern, which is kind of a great feeling coming out of the Rivian. I also looked at the Supercharger prices along the way, and it's remarkably cheap. They're all right about 30 cents a kilowatt hour, which is really good. The rack rate on Electrify America, I believe, is 48 cents a kilowatt hour these days, and 36 with Pass Plus, something like that, plus or minus a couple cents. But Tesla's cheaper, which is a pleasant surprise. And not only that, but the Model Y is way more efficient than the Rivian was. But I would anticipate fairly low traffic today, considering it's the 4th of July holiday. It's literally the 4th of July today. We might hit some traffic. I'm hoping we don't, but I think most people that are traveling probably are already at their destination versus traveling on the day, especially with 4th of July being on a Tuesday. I think most people that were going to travel for this holiday are probably already at their destinations, maybe. But who really knows? Let's get the show on the road. And here's my setup. I've got my second iPhone there running Waze just for hazards, things like that. I've got my radar detector up here. I don't know if I've ever linked how I set that up, but it's just on a little magnet mount. And here we've got the route. So looking forward to this. And before we go, out of curiosity, I do just want to check my battery temperature to see how it progresses as we drive along here. We've got service mode, so we can see our battery temperature. It kills climate right away when you go into that mode. Go into high voltage charging. So our battery pack temperature is at 37 minimum, 41 max. I've learned that the minimum temperature isn't actually accurate, which is unfortunate. Looks like we also have a software update downloading, so that's great. So I'll actually probably install that at the next charging stop. Wish that had been downloaded overnight rather than now, but I've got it on my hotspot. I've got a hotspot set up in the console here along with my other stuff. But that should be our full self-driving beta update, I think. Well, we've driven 25 miles so far. Tesla is already adding in a supercharger stop before we get to Walterboro. We're going to go ahead and remove that. I'll go ahead and bail out if I need to, but I'm not planning to bail out quite yet. We still got a 11% estimated arrival. We've got 240 miles of estimated range with 156 miles to go. I think we're plenty good. But like I said, we've got plenty of bailout options along the way. We've got Columbia, we've got Orangeburg, we've got, I think that's St. George, yep. Or we can even maybe push it a little bit further to Yemassee, I think that's how you pronounce that. Really no idea, but we've got a lot of options, so I have zero concern that we'll be stranded. Yeah, we're just gonna keep plugging along to Walterboro for now. Those of you that know Tesla as well or have been watching this channel a long time know why my car's in kilometers, but I just noticed something weird. The since last charge trip didn't reset, which is super weird. Even though I unplugged it 100% and then I reset the Florida trip and the current trip. So I'm not sure why the since last charge trip didn't reset with the charge. Very odd. And then the software update is still downloading there. So hopefully we'll be done processing. We'll see how long it will take to install. If it's like 20 minutes, I might just install it at one of these stops, but otherwise we'll install it tonight probably. But it's already yelling at me to slow down, but I'm not going to slow down. We'll bail out if we need to. It's still showing 4% arrival, which is plenty. Well, the car thinks we won't make it, even though it's predicting a 1% arrival, but we'll kind of play it by ear here. And again, we have plenty of bailout options along the way. So we've got Orangeburg, St. George, and then Walterboro. So if anything, we would probably stop at St. George if we do need to bail out, but I'm going to continue on to Walterboro unless I absolutely need to stop. Well, we're going to do a very brief stop here at the Orangeburg, South Carolina Supercharger. The car actually didn't think we would make it to St. George either, so I'm just playing it a little bit safe here. We'll probably stop here for 5 minutes or so. I've never been to this Supercharger. It's a solar canopy site, so should be pretty nice. I don't know who the site host is. I think it's a gas station. Yeah, Spinks, just like a Shell gas station. So we'll be there in 2 minutes, so see you there in a second. Well, we've arrived. I'm just going to turn my climate keep on. There we go. We're at 21%. Let's check our battery temperature, put it into service mode so that way we can see the current that we get as well. Turn climate back on. Charging, there we go. So we're at 51C max temp. Let's get plugged in. We'll show the magic of Tesla Superchargers. We literally just press the button here, opens the charge port for you. Plug in, we'll be charging in 7 seconds generally on a V3. There we go, contactors click. Essentially no effort. And just like that, over 500 amps. What more could you ask for? Well, just checking out this solar system, looks like it's actually off. So you can see the screen there, and then you can actually see the disconnect over here. It's tagged out. So it looks like Tesla tagged it out, I think. You can also see the meter is dead there, but not entirely sure why. Maybe they haven't gotten PTO yet. But we've got a 750 kVA transformer. We've got our 2 version 3 prefabricated supercharger units, plus the solar canopy here. So this used to not have a canopy. So they added the canopy after they installed the superchargers. Got an apple fritter inside. They looked pretty good. We're gonna hit the road again. We've been here like 6 or 7 minutes and we're already up to almost 50%. So really nothing at all to complain about here. It's as easy as it gets and super painless. I've missed the Tesla road trip lifestyle. Well, we're charged up to 54% after a whopping 12-minute stop. Battery is toasty. We're gonna exit out of service mode there. We're headed to St. George. We'll do a brief stop there. Just want to check off another supercharger. The since last charge actually did reset this time. Not sure. Let's see. Guess I could put my seatbelt on, but it's going to see if this drive reset. Seatbelt with one hand is a little tricky, actually. Got a Model 3 pulling up in blue. So current drive and since charge actually reset this time. There's our trip. We're going to continue on. Let's see the cost, $6.82, because this was, I believe, 30 cents a kilowatt hour. 31 cents a kilowatt hour, so extremely reasonable. Let's continue on. Well, we've got preconditioning going for the first time. I didn't do it on the first stop there because I changed right before it, but preconditioning for St. George. We're only going to do a splash and dash there, probably stay for 1 or 2 minutes, and then continue on to Walterboro. Well, as we're pulling up to the St. George Supercharger, I'm wondering what they're building there. But there's the Supercharger. We're going to pull up in just 1 second here. This is a 12 stall, yep. And it looks like we're going to be the only ones here. This is a really weird configuration, but I'll show you guys in just a second once we park. Well, we're at 34%. We're in St. George, South Carolina. There we go, 31 cents a kilowatt hour. We'll get plugged in. There we go, that's gonna start charging. This is a 12 stall version 3. And for some reason, even though it should be pull through, it's not. This is the weirdest configuration. Really don't know why they put bollards in the middle here, because they didn't exist prior to the superchargers. Got the electrical over here, 3 cabinets because it's 12 stall, of course. Got a transformer, switch gear. Inside a food line, which is maybe not the best choice for a site host, but it's convenient right off the interstate, right off I-95, and then we're going to continue on to Walterboro. Pulling into Walterboro. I think we're going to go to the Electrify America first, just out of curiosity. We'll go this way, I think, to Electrify America. Yep, we'll go to the Walmart. We've been here many times if you've been watching this channel for a while, both good and bad. Most recently, pretty bad in the Rivian. When I went down to Florida in the Rivian, I actually had to wait in line here. And then because I didn't want to wait in the line, I ended up just limping it along to Pooler, I believe. So that was not a fun check-in then. And I'm seeing that all 4 units here are derated at the moment, which is also pretty bad. So I'm going to see if that's actually the case and showing on the screens here, or if it's just the app. Looks like we've got an Ioniq 5 charging up there. And of course there's a 12 stall version 3 supercharger here, so not at all surprising. And of course the supercharger, I'm sure, is functioning completely perfectly. So I'm just gonna park it over here out of the way. And let's check out the Electrify America. Well, we're here in my Model Y at Electrify America in Walterboro, South Carolina. I'm not gonna charge here because there's a 12 stall version 3 supercharger over that way in this complex. But I saw in the Electrify America app that all of the stations here are derated. So let's actually see if that's the case. So this Ioniq 5 that should be getting well over 200 kilowatts is getting 26 kilowatts right now. That's really, really bad. This unit, I did see the derated screen a second ago when it flashed up. We'll see if that comes back or if any of the other ones are showing it. Yep. Maximum power of this charger has been temporarily reduced in order to perform an update. Doesn't actually show, yeah, there we go, 1 to 50 kilowatts. Same on this one. One to 50 kilowatts. Let's just go back to this one here. See the derated screen, but there we go, 1 to 50 kilowatts. Let's just check in again on this Ioniq 5. Still 26 kilowatts, and that is why I'm glad to be driving a Tesla again, because this in the Rivian would just be truly unbearable. We've got a XC40 recharge pulling up, and I'm gonna head over to the supercharger. And now we're at the Walterboro Tesla Supercharger 12 stall version 3. We've got 6 here, then we've got another 6 right over there. We do have a kind of trailer stall, but if you had a trailer, you would definitely be blocking people, so not ideal. I think they could have put that along the side maybe, and it would have been better. We're getting 141 kilowatts. This is just going to be a splash and dash. We're headed to Yemassee, something like that. I'm totally butchering that. Then we're going to continue on. I'm just hitting some of these superchargers I've never been to because I play this silly game of who's been to the most superchargers and want to get some status back on there. But splash and dash, continue on, just posting a rate your charge so that people can see what it's like out on the road with an EV. And we're continuing on from Walterboro. So we charged it up very briefly. We're up to 41%. We're headed to Yemassee, South Carolina. Only 25 miles, 25 minutes. So just gonna blast down there and continue on. We're in Yemassee, South Carolina. We've got an 8 stall version 3 supercharger. Battery is nice and warm. Didn't show preconditioning or anything. We're gonna get plugged in. There we go. We've got a nice refresh Model S. I've actually got some aero caps for my Gemini wheels coming that look just like the Tempest covers. Got a blue Model Y over there. 2 prefabricated supercharger units here. And let's see how our speeds are. We should already be done handshaking and charging by now. I hear the cooling going on the supercharger post. And there we go, we're getting full power there. 152 kilowatts, which is about what I'd expect in this car. 4680 charge curve is not great, but gathering data to see how it truly does. There we've got a Model 3 pulling up, and we're at a Wendy's in the back of a parking lot. There is a BP just right there, so not bad. Wouldn't be my first choice if I had to pick superchargers based on amenities, but certainly could be worse. We're actually going to charge here for about 10 minutes before we head to Pooler, Georgia. We're skipping Hardyville, South Carolina, because I've been there quite a few times, but successful charge here. Just unplugged here in Yemassee. We're up to 44%. We've got 42 miles to go to Pooler. We're going to stop at the Rivian Adventure Network site in Pooler first as we head in there. That's near the Electrify America, actually, but we're not going to bother going there. That's the old Savannah or Supercharger. That's a new version 3, another new version 3. We're going to stop at both of them, and then we'll continue on to Florida. So we're going to actually have to stop at one of these Pooler sites. We'll just see which one is slightly better for actually spending a little bit of time. We'll then go to Yulee, Jacksonville. Jacksonville one just opened, actually, so let's get on the road. And 26 miles we drove on this last drive, and the cost of this last charge was $3.60 because it was 30 cents a kilowatt hour, I believe. Let's see. Yep, 30 cents a kilowatt hour, so very reasonable pricing here. We're in Pooler, Georgia now. There's a Sam's Club over there. We're going to stop by the Electrify America that's over there. It's reporting as full. I actually see a Tesla waiting, I think, which is really weird. I don't know why they would wait there when there's 3 superchargers. Then we'll go to Panda Express. That's where the Rivian Adventure Network site is. We're not going to charge at the Electrify America or at the Adventure Network site. We can't charge at the Adventure Network site, even though physically CCS will work with this car, but they are Rivian only right now because they're free. Eventually they'll be opening up to be for everyone. At least in theory, that's what they've said. But they first need to enable billing and all that fun stuff first, because I don't think they're going to want to give away free charging for everyone. But let's just scope out what the heck is going on at this Electrify America. Mostly out of curiosity, it looks like a bit of a mess here. So we're rolling up here. It's definitely full. There's a Tesla waiting, some people doing some troubleshooting and things. Wow, what a cluster. We've got all sorts of cars here. Decided to swing by the Pooler Electrify America here on my way to the Supercharger, and it's completely full. All 6 stalls in use. App is showing that as well, and I believe there's 3 cables down, so just kind of crazy here. Glad I'm not in a CCS car. Not sure what this Model 3 is doing here. Not sure if they're just here with one of these CCS cars, but glad I am not having to wait in line. Well, here we are at the Pooler Rivian Adventure Network site. This is a 5 or 6 stall Adventure Network site. There's 2 cabinets. I feel like this one is backwards for the pull-in spot. I have talked to some people from Rivian. They like to say that the reason they do it like this in this orientation is that you don't have to twist it to get into the charge port, which kind of makes sense. But instead, in this case, you have to walk up onto this mulch, which that's really not that accessible either. So I think this should be flipped around. Even if you do have to then twist the cable or twist your body around to plug in the cable, that's probably still better than having to walk up on the mulch. But we've got an R1T here in nice forest green. And it seems to be working. I'll check on the Rivian app to see if there's any down, but I don't believe there are. And last time I was here, this one was actually smashed. Someone hit it before the pedestal was ever installed. Someone just literally came through and knocked over the bollard. But yeah, here we have it. And then we're gonna head to the Pooler Supercharger. Well, we're at Pooler, Georgia, US 80 Supercharger. We're gonna continue the trip here. We're gonna go to the other Pooler as well to check that out, just down the street-ish. 5.7 miles away. We're at 17%. Gonna get plugged in. If you watch Out of Spec Dave, this looks familiar. So that's the car wash they washed Kathy's Model Y at on their latest road trip down to Florida. We're at the back of an end market convenience store, gas station on the front. We're already charging just like that. Let's see the price here. We're at 31 cents a kilowatt hour. We're already getting 173 kilowatt, 179 just like that, 181. So that's as good as I'm going to expect for 17% on this car. It's still figuring out the charge curve, but it's not great. And we'll charge here for a little bit. I'm going to try and grab some food in the store. Well, back at the car. It's been about an 8-minute stop. Crazy fast. We're going to unplug. There we go. Get back in the car. We're already up to 43%. We'll go over to the other pooler, charge for just a brief bit before we head down to Florida. Just arrived at the other pooler, Georgia site. We're at 40% because we charged at the other one. This one's at a Parker's Kitchen convenience store. We've got a Chick-fil-A across the street. We also have a Starbucks across the street. Someone decided it was a good idea to put gum on the supercharger dispenser. That's disgusting. We're gonna be charging here in a second. I'm gonna place a mobile order for Starbucks, probably walk over. I'm definitely going to regret it because it's blazing hot out, but that's fine. I'll leave the climate on in the car. See that we're getting good speeds. It's ramping. That looks about right for 40%. Got another Model 3 pulling up. Got a Model Y. Might run inside there to check it out as well, but everything looks good here. Got some Starbucks, my strawberry acai refresher. I got an Impossible sausage breakfast sandwich because those are actually surprisingly good. Almost got hit by an SUV in the Chick-fil-A parking lot, which should be zero surprise to anyone. You can see the Superchargers all the way over there. Gonna check out the Parker's Kitchen, then we'll get back on the road. It was already saying we'd get to Yulee, Florida with 3%, but I want to build some buffer so that we don't have to watch our speed as much. How do you know you're at a supercharger in the summer? Well, the whole site sounds like it's about to take off with all the fans running. And we charged up to 82%, just unplugged. That's an estimated 228 miles of range, but we have 111 miles to go. We're gonna go pretty quickly. Estimating we'll arrive at 23%. I would imagine that will drop a bit. And then after Jacksonville, we're actually gonna be dipping west to towards Ocala, Gainesville, Ocala, and then down to Orlando because we've got to make some stops along here, and then we'll come into Orlando from the west. So, got my Starbucks, got a Gatorade. Let's hit the road, get these miles down. We're up to 623 miles on the odometer, 262 miles driven on this trip so far. So making pretty good time, enjoying the drive, and nice and short charge times. It's a shame this stop is a bit off the of I-95 because this is definitely the one with the better stops, but not the most convenient for I-95. We've got a Costco, we've got the Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, we've got the Parker's Kitchen. So lots of options. So if you have time and you want better options, this might be the stop you want to go to instead of the other pooler site. Just about to exit here. I don't think I could have used more energy if I tried. I literally tried. 431 watt hour per mile. Looks like we'll roll in with about 6%. We've got just about a mile to go. There is the FPL station right over there that we've been to before. We went there in the Rivian. It was pretty rough. Might check that out on our way out here. Had a little bit of rain. This trailer in front of us is quite cool. I don't know what it's hauling, maybe a car, but got a Circle K there. No, turn on red. But anyway, yeah, we've got FPL right about here, I believe. Oh yeah, old imagery that doesn't show anything. We've got Public Utilities headquarters, then we've got some new developments with Superchargers, so I'll see you there. Also, I'm definitely an idiot because I was supposed to turn left getting off there and I turned right, so I had to flip around and then we'll be there. The FPL chargers are all the way over there. I've never actually been to this Supercharger. I think I see them ahead, I think. Pull in here, I think this is how you go. I see a Model X sticking out. So that section was definitely the fastest leg we've driven all day. Oh, I don't like these sideways ones usually, but let's go into 1B here. Not that it really matters, it's version 3. And there we have it. We're at 6%, 428 watt hour per mile. Let's put it in service mode, see how the battery is doing. Always have to turn the climate right back on. No, we can't leave it on because it's too low state of charge. Battery is not that hot, which is good. So let's get plugged in. We'll see how it does. Should get full over 600 amps. Yeah, these sideways ones are kind of awkward. Just like that, we're plugged in. And then fast handshake because Tesla, so we're already handshaked. Let's see. Watch it ramping very quickly. 190 kilowatts, 208, 218, that's fastest we've seen all day, 221, 644 amps, wow, 223 kilowatts. See how quickly it ramps down here. It'll probably ramp down fairly quickly. But we'll see how long it holds over 500 amps, the CCS max. And I'll probably hang out in the car until 20% so the climate can stay on, and then I'll probably get out, see what's around here. And then that will be when I can leave the climate on as well. But we're adding charge pretty rapidly there. Almost down to 500 amps. Yeah, this drops fairly quick. We'll see how long it holds it. Temperature's rising, 59.25 C, 59.5. Those cells get pretty hot pretty quick. And what I've learned is that this minimum temperature is not actually accurate. Once I have my CAN server hooked up, I had to wait for a harness. But then we'll have some better data. I'll have my iPad living down here. And we're just about at 500 amps. Yeah, we're already up to almost 61 Celsius. So now we're below 500 amps, and I'm just gonna let this charge, see how far we need to go. Let's see. Guess we only need 5 minutes because we're going to Jacksonville next. And that is, let's see how many miles away. I don't know why it's not showing me. Oh, there we go. Weird. No. Of course, I cancel it right as it pops up. Let's go here. 11 miles, so not bad at all. We'll just do a brief charge here. I'm going to see what the site host is for that versus this to see what the better option is. Kind of need to use the restroom, and it doesn't look like there's any that would be super welcoming to just use the restroom, but plotted out some of the rest of my trip. So Jacksonville next, we'll then go to Alachua. I don't think there's any other Superchargers over here. Maybe we'll stop at that one. I think I've been to that one though. I'll have to take a look. If I've been to it, I'm not going to stop. I've been to Lake City. We'll come down here. We might hit those two. Might hit those ones, that one. Then we'll make our way into Orlando area. We'll head to Winter Park. Still need to figure out my hotel for the night, but that's easy enough. So we're charged up to 33%. Need to record a rate your charge update, and then we'll continue on. Quick stop in Yulee, Florida. Great stop. Not the best amenities. Well, I guess there are good amenities, but not good if you just want to like run in and use the restroom, I guess. Good if you want to eat food. Maxed at 645 amps or so. Highest I've seen in this car is 223 kilowatts. We've been here probably 10, 15 minutes, something like that. This is a 8-stall version 3. And then we're gonna head to Jacksonville next. There's a brand new supercharger. It looks like it just went live. And we're gonna stop at the FPL over there on our way out as well, see what the heck's going on over there, because last time I was here it was pretty rough. Moved over to the FPL chargers here in Yulee, Florida, and found this. So I checked the app, it's showing that this unit is faulted. I would say, sure. Faulted is one way to describe what's happening here. Front glass is completely shattered, cables are on the ground, not great. The rest appear to be functional according to the app. Let's see. Start charging, okay. There's my Model Y. You actually had to pull in a closed-ish road to get in here because they're doing some construction over here, so you have to do like a roundabout to get out, which actually kind of makes this slightly better, I guess, because it's not a road now. But here we have the lower power dispensers. We've got a Mach-E charging. I'm gonna go over to the cabinets here because I'm curious if things are actually looking decent now versus last time I was here. It was looking really rough. Always have to be mindful of like snakes and things in Florida. Well, it looks like they did actually close up stuff here. Because last time I was here, this was all just open. Well, okay, it's kind of closed now, at least. So it's looking better. Still kind of rough shape overall. But seems functional. Let's see if we've got anything else over here. But at least everything's closed how it should be. So slightly promising. Cannot be said about last time I was here, which is kind of scary. Yeah, here we have it. FPL Yulee. We made it to Jacksonville, Florida, City Center Boulevard Supercharger. We're at 28% state of charge, so we're not going to max out full power here, but this is a brand new supercharger. This opened June 28th, so less than a week ago, last Thursday, I believe. Nice and fresh handles. Cables are a little stiff because they're not fully broken in yet. Same labels as we've seen many, many times before. We're already charging. Just love the supercharger handshake and how quick it is. See this ramp up. Should go 150-ish. Maybe even a bit higher. Still figuring out this charge curve. So about 150 or so. Not bad at 29%, but definitely wish it was a bit better. Hopefully Tesla improves that with software updates, but this is not the best location for interstate travel. It's a bit off the interstate, kind of, there's a couple lights and things, so it's not the fastest, so maybe not the one you'll want to use for interstate, but I think this is great for local use. There's a Blaze Pizza, PF Chang's, tons of other stuff, Panda Express, especially for you, Kyle. Yeah, 16 stall version 3. Here we have another example of Tesla putting one of these handles on for accessibility, because otherwise this would be too high for ADA reach requirements. So they have to put this, that way someone in a wheelchair can grab it at a lower height. And this is their van accessible stall, and signed well because it has a handicap sign just saying that it's van accessible but not handicap only, which is how it should be for EV charging. And yeah, here we are. Well, just got back to the car. We overcharged quite a bit unplugging here. I was on my laptop doing some work and I had to use the restroom, so combine those two. And we're charged up to 90%, so typical car is ready before I am. I think these are lower speed roads all the way over to Alachua. I have no idea how you pronounce that. I also managed to book a hotel, so we're going to Town Place Suites by the airport in Orlando, all the way down there. Might try and hit some superchargers around Orlando before we get there. But let's get going. We've got 82 miles, about an hour and a half roughly. So shouldn't be too slow, luckily. We'll get there about 5:30. Let's see, gets us to the hotel about 9. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit late. Might try and just find a brewery or something to grab dinner, maybe a beer or something to end the night after once I check into the hotel. But let's get on the road. We're now in Alachua, Florida. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly. We're headed to Gainesville next. This is a very Florida man-esque town is how I would describe it. We've got a 12-stall version 3 supercharger. Nothing particularly special here. We're at a Hitchcock's Food and Pharmacy with some other stuff. Looks like there's a laundromat, Subway, Verizon haircut place. We've got some trucks hanging out. Kind of in the middle of nowhere, but also not. We're just a bit off of 75 here. So northwest of Orlando, and headed in from the northwest into Orlando. Did a very brief charge there at Alachua. Looks like we've got a storm ahead, so hopefully we can do our best to avoid that. I don't think we're really going to be able to, but we'll see what happens. It's Florida, anything's possible with the weather. But we've got 10 minutes to go until we get to Gainesville, Northwest 39th Avenue, Boulevard, something. Just another splash and dash, and then we'll head to site and then Ocala. We're in Gainesville, Northwest 39th Avenue. It's a version 3 supercharger. We've got 8 stalls. Kind of a weird configuration. We've got these pull-in ones, which I'm not really a fan of. I know some people do like these, but I don't really. I think they're kind of tight as you pull in, which is not great, especially if you have a Model X. We do have some back-end stalls over there, and then we have one off to the side, so I guess they just made use of the space they had. We've got a Burger King, we've got a Circle K right there, we've got another Circle K across the street, so you've got plenty of options for late night stuff. And this is right off of 75. So just a splash and dash here, and then we'll hit the road. Let's make sure we're charging properly. 90 kilowatts at 51%, sounds about right. Next stop, about 40 miles away. We just passed through a brief bit of relatively heavy rain that lasted for probably a couple miles, and I must say I'm very impressed with how vision-based Autopilot handled that. Actually didn't cut out or anything. It did give me a navigate on Autopilot not available due to inclement weather message, but Autopilot itself continued on, didn't hesitate, didn't phantom brake. I'm pretty impressed. It even like suggested some auto lane changes based on speed differentials like it is right now. Even in the rain. So really actually impressed. And if you've been watching this channel or follow me on Twitter, you know I'm about as Tesla skeptical as they get when it comes to things like FSD and stuff like that, but I can't deny when it works, and it works, and I'm pretty impressed. So well done, Tesla. I still do have the update pending, so might install that here soon. If I have a stop that I'm gonna spend 25 minutes anyway, and that way I can try out the FSD stack. Well, I was flying my drone here and decided to do the software update. So just hanging out in my car for the moment. Gonna pull up my laptop until this finishes, but should be done here shortly, and then I'll have FSD beta, I think. We'll see. We are in Ocala, Florida, West Silver Springs Boulevard. We're at a Wawa, and this is a full supercharger. Oh, we've got some advertising here. I'm sure Tesla would be delighted with that from Xcare. Get plugged in. Got our transformer and everything over here. And let's see this full supercharger. This is just an 8-stall version 3. So probably needs more capacity realistically, but this is one of 2 superchargers in Ocala. So that must be for the store. That's for the supercharger. Looks like a 750 kVA. Yep, 750. Here we have the switchgear. This is a 1200 amp, which makes sense for 2 cabinets. So brief charge here and then continuing on. Charged up to about 48%, I believe, at the Ocala supercharger. Very brief stop. I've got 2 stops to make, and then we'll head to Okahumpa on the Florida Turnpike. As we get into Orlando, we'll hit some of the superchargers around Orlando, make our way to the hotel, find some dinner, and then that will be the end of this video, end of today's trip. And then I'll see you guys on the return trip. But let's just knock out these last few and kind of recap. Trying to find the superchargers. They're over there. Pretty nice service plaza here. Florida has quite a few of these pretty nice ones. This is the Okahumpa. Probably butchering that. Bear hugs from Florida. Okay. Interesting. They have a park and bark area. This person looks lost. Oh wow, we've got a Model S signature. Look at that. Plugged in at the Okahumpka Service Plaza. This is in the middle of the Florida Turnpike. We've got gas over there, diesel there. We've got some truck parking back here, pet area, temporary restrooms. I'm plugged in. This is 8-stall version 3, and we've got a Model S Signature here, so great stop. We're plugged in here at 29%. Just gonna charge briefly. We'll head to Winter Garden next, just hitting a couple superchargers on the way in. Got a hotel there by the airport, but I need to figure out food because I'm realizing it's 8:30 on a holiday and I don't want to eat junk food, so I need to figure something out before everything's closed. Normally I try to find breweries that have food, but we'll see what I can find that's open, because usually breweries actually respect their employees, so they're probably not open today. So I might end up having to do junk food, unfortunately. Well, I think I've got a plan. We're charged plenty here. I've got my route set. We're going to Winter Garden, we're going to Turkey Lake, we're going to Orlando West End Lake. Only going there because it's right by Yard House, which is where I'm planning to get food. Hopefully it's not too much of a mess over here. This looks like it's hopefully not part of some complex that I have to, like, I don't know. If it's too much of a mess, I'll just get something else, but looks like they're open till 11:30, and then we're going to hotel over here. Might add in this Supercharger, just depending on if I've been there or not. I don't think I have. And then that way I'll be near the airport for some pickups tomorrow. And that will be the night. So that'll put us fairly late, get to the hotel about 10 p.m., which is totally fine. Well, the owner of the Model S Signature behind us is actually the original owner of it, Vin38. Great talking to the guy. It felt like the old days of Superchargers when everyone was super nice to each other and everyone drove Model S's, and there weren't that many of us, but that's not the case today. Of course, there's still plenty of very nice Tesla owners, but it's definitely not like the old days when everyone talked to everyone at Superchargers and it was like we were all in this together. But now just normal people drive Teslas and it's no big deal, which is also good. I mean, it means we went mainstream, but it's a very different pace. We're at Winter Garden, Florida. Not 100% sure if I'm still gonna get food at Yard House. We've got tons of fireworks going on because it's the 4th of July. We're at Wawa. Let's get plugged in. Not very busy. We've got a Model 3 there. We've got a Model Y there. Lots of fireworks going on. Let's make sure we're charging. And we're charging. Let's go into service mode here. Take a look at speeds. We're just shy of 1,000 miles on the car. There we go, 949 miles. Go high voltage, charging. There we go. Battery is relatively warm, but not super toasty. Getting 140 kilowatts at 33%, not bad. This is gonna be a splash and dash, but I am gonna consider some food inside. We charged to 46% at Winter Garden. Now we're off to Turkey Lake, about 6.5 miles away, so very quick jaunt over there. Then we'll have one more supercharger, get dinner, go to the hotel. There's charging at the hotel. I think there's 10 of them, level 2s, something like that. And then that will be a night. Turkey Lake Service Plaza. Another supercharger. Maybe this one has FPL chargers too, I'm not entirely sure. Sounds familiar, which means it probably has FPL chargers too. I think I've maybe been here in the Rivian? Maybe. We'll see when we get here if it looks familiar. Nope, I don't think I've been here before. But there are Ah, there's some old FSX. That's why it sounded familiar. Old Duke Chargers. In rough shape. Made it to Turkey Lake. This is the only version 2 we're stopping at probably this entire trip. Not trying to go to the Supercharger listing. I think I pulled into the only stall that's down. Oh no, never mind. 2B is down. So let's get plugged in here. You can tell it's a version 2 Supercharger because it has the silver ring, the cable sticker. Let's see if 2A or 1B is working. Yeah, it should be. It's 2B. You can hear tons and tons of fireworks going off. You can't really see any at the moment. Starting to charge. Ramping up. $70, 102, 120. That's all we can expect here. I think this is an early version 2. And that's about right for the state of charge on the car. So, good check in there. But the Duke Chargers over here, on the other hand, different story. Out of order tag on that CCS handle. Oh, they're using the Charge Up app here. In maintenance. Chatamo is dead. Actually, no, sorry, that's dual CCS, it looks like. Or maybe not. So this one out of order. That's our CCS. Looks like we have one functioning Chatamo here. And that's the only non-Tesla plug that's maybe functioning. That was a very quick stop, basically just enough time to film that clip for Rate Your Charge. We charged to 49% and we're headed to Orlando West Sand Lake Supercharger, which happens to be right by the yard house that I'm going to get dinner at. Hopefully they're open, otherwise I'll just have to grab like Domino's pizza or something. I don't really even know, but I'll figure something out. There's gotta be something open late on 4th of July. And then we'll head to the hotel, and I'll probably be editing this video and trying to get it up for the morning. Otherwise, in the next couple days. But if I don't do it tonight, it probably won't get up till this weekend, and I'd prefer to get it up before that. So, off to the next Supercharger. Well, I was wrong. The last one was not the only version 2 we're going to. This is version 2. And we're over by Orlando, or not Orlando, Universal Studios, I think. I don't know. I'm not a theme park person. But we've got an we've got an 8-stall version 2 Supercharger. We've got the one over there, and then we've also got one there. We're at a Wawa again, and we're just going to do a very quick splash and dash here. So it's ramping up. I think we're going to be sharing power. I didn't look that closely because it doesn't really matter. Then we're going to go to Yard House, get some food. Oh, it looks like I'm getting actually full power, so that's promising. And this is an up to 150. Charged to 52% here. We really don't need much charge at all. The hotel's 13 miles away. We're heading to Yard House and see just how crazy it is, given that we're right by the theme parks and things. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Otherwise, I might just go back to Wawa and get food there and call it a night. Or, well, get food, go to the hotel, call it a night. But if it's not too crazy, I'll get food there because I do want some real food. Well, it's quite busy here. We've got the Orlando Slingshot right above us, basically. So I think I'm just going to go back to the hotel, find something nearby there. There's got to be something nearby. We'll go to, where's the hotel in there? There we go. So we've got 13 miles to go, 18 minutes. Not too bad. There is the yard house, but I'm good. That's packed. No thanks. Got Bar Louie there. Gonna grab some food there, assuming they're open and have their kitchen open still. And the hotel is basically across the street, half a mile away. We're at 979 miles on the odometer, 619 miles driven. We'll go over a recap once we get to the hotel here shortly. Made it to the hotel, Town Place Suites by Marriott. We've got quite a few level 2 chargers here. I think there's 10, so there's 2 over there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Got my suitcase out, put my backpack on, which was silly of me. Set that down there. Let me show you some stats. Kill the music there. So we've driven 620 miles, 231 kilowatt hour, 373 watt hour per mile. We'll go into trips here. I think it shows more detail. I guess not. I thought it would show decimals, but it doesn't. But there we have it. We have now 980 miles on the odometer. I'll try to pull in a view here from the Teslafy. But car is doing fantastic. Really, really enjoying the Model Y. Here we have it. Some bugs, but actually not as many as I would expect. PPF, of course, looks pretty terrible, but that's kind of the point. I have to get the key fob for the charger from the front desk. I'll do that, come out here, show you guys what that's like, because I think these have like a retractable cable. And then we'll wrap this up. All right, well, we're gonna do this together in real time. They gave me a key fob, which looks like a garage door opener. I have no idea how this works. I've literally used hundreds of different chargers. I've never used something like this. I've got my J1772 adapter here. So put this in there. Hopefully it doesn't shut on it. And then I guess I just press and hold. Let's see. Oh, and then I press and hold the release button here. And then that's how it extends. And then I plug it in. That is just kind of wild. We're charging, so that's good. Let's see, so these are 40 amps. I'll take my backpack off. Kill the music. We're gonna set the charge limit to 90%. There we go. So we're gonna let that charge overnight, charge to 90% overnight, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'll set it to 100% because I've got a lot of driving to do tomorrow. But there we have it. It's a wrap in the first nearly 1,000 miles in the Tesla Model Y with the 4680 structural battery pack. We did over 600 miles today, driving all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina down to Orlando, Florida. And then we're gonna have another video on the return trip from somewhere in Florida all the way back up to Charlotte, North Carolina. Probably go a little bit different route, probably go more direct. And just the required stops, maybe 1 or 2 extra versus, I think we did 12 stops today, something like that. Just a little bit excessive. It's a long day. It's now almost 11, or yeah, nearly midnight, 11:30, something like that. And yeah, it got a little out of hand, the amount of stops I did, but I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Lots more Model Y 4680 content to come. And if you have any special requests, definitely comment them down below. See you on the next one.